Hey, Lawrence.
Hello.
How is it going?
Not bad. How are things with you, Anna, today?
They're very good. They're very exciting. There's a lot of nice projects. There's a lot to do. And our studio is getting fuller, finally,
Yes.
because more and more action is happening here, of course. Again, finally, after the Corona stuff and all of that. So busy, busy times, which is brilliant, of course. It's fun. I'm meeting more and more people too, like this. And so that's awesome.
Yes.
Now, let us talk about the obvious, most interesting thing which happened this week. Messi is leaving Barcelona.
Yeah, actually, it's funny because he said he was going to stay, and then suddenly, randomly, he said he was going to leave. So obviously, they didn't come to an agreement about,
Yeah,
you know,
some regulation stuff, I guess. Like you're not allowed to have this amount of money in the Spanish league, and there is a cap of
is
how
that it?
much
Is
you.
that the
Yeah, I
reason?
think I think
Oh,
that's what I
okay.
heard the
Okay.
most recent that you have
I,
to earn more than you
a
spend,
word.
kind of.
Oh,
Because
right.
at one point it went too viral. Now, when you're having chess play, you played in the Bundesliga too, right?
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah. So, how is it actually? Just because I don't know, and I just want to really genuinely know, because I
Hmm.
really don't, I'm clueless. How? Because as far as I understand, players can play in different countries for different chess clubs at the same time,
Hmm.
or is that not the case? Yes, right?
Yes. Yes.
Do you know how this is possible or how the regulation is working for this? So you could play in Brazil and Germany, but also
Yeah.
in China, for example,
Right.
but also
Um,
in many European, same as long as it's not the same country, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, basically, there's just no clash in that sense because the teams don't really play against each other from other countries that often. There's the European Club Cup where there's one chance where you might uh, be part of two teams that are in the European Club Cup, but then you can just pick. Again, because it's just a less interconnected world when it comes to club competitions in chess. Basically, you can play for many. And before Corona, Arna, basically, there were a lot of very strong grandmasters, chess professionals who lived from playing club competitions. That was their main
Hmm.
source of income. They would play the Bundesliga, the French league, the Portuguese league, the Austrian league, the English league. And if you think about all these leagues, these are weekend, you're traveling around Europe for most of the year playing these weekends. You're earning whatever it is. I mean, some grandmasters get paid very nicely per game, especially
Hmm.
used to in the Bundesliga. I mean, the Bundesliga, I mean, if you got with one of the top teams, I've been privy to contracts. I've seen it. It's really good money. So that was the income of a what I would say a very strong grandmaster that isn't elite. So your
Hmm.
guys who are 2550, 2600, 2650, even 2700, who aren't getting the invites to the big tournaments, the way they made their money, apart from things like coaching and doing series and whatnot, is being part of all of these clubs all over the world. So
Interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's how it works basically.
Yeah, and this is how the world's. And then there's a player like Grealish. Well,
Jack
he's
Grealish,
Jack Grealish. He's going
Grealish.
to Manchester for 118 million
Apparently he
pounds.
is. Yeah, I mean he's a wonderful player. You probably saw him at the Euros.
Yeah,
He's been touted as like one of our best players for a long, long time, and
yeah,
I think he's going to really shine in Manchester City because he's going to be playing with other top players, and he's got the potential to be the best English player for a long, long time. There's something, uh, he reminds. He's got a real touch, which is something you see more with the European players like the Messis. Just his ball control reminds me of like somebody like David Ginola or Gianfranco Zola, one of these old school fantastic European players. But it's very
that's
weird for an English guy to have this kind of touch.
back in our times, Lawrence, when the
Yes,
football
exactly.
was really good back then.
It was. It was much better back in the day. Much better. Much better.
Now,
Yes.
talking about chess. So
Yeah. Let's talk about chess.
when you play in football, you get a lot of money when you win something.
Yes.
Do you know? I assume that Duda wins a prize money when he won the World Cup, right?
Hmm. Uh,
And is do you know the price at
I
all? I
don't
don't know it.
actually know how much you won. No.
Okay, but it is probably somewhere publicly announced, I
Yeah,
assume.
it will be because it's a FIDE event. It will be
Yeah.
publicly. I can maybe quickly find out. My guess is it's from memory. It's something in the region 110,000. There
Oh,
you go.
there we go.
Yeah, one hundred ten
Just
thousand
about.
dollars.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
which is
It,
it looks good, but actually it's not quite the case
huh.
because there's a 20% tax that
Ooh,
FIDE take directly. So that's already $22,000 off that. So then you are at, what are you at there? Like
80, 90,
88. No,
yeah, nine. Oh gosh. Oh my God. I think it is.
it's not 98, right? That would be 12,000.
Yeah, yeah, no,
So
yeah, okay, yeah, that's
22,000 is
right.
88,000. And then, of course, you have to pay regular tax on that. So you're going to be paying 50% or 40%. So call it 44,000. And then you've got all of your costs that you pay for. They are not paid for. So hotel, flights, paying for your trainer. So that's going to be at least 10,000. So you'll make a net win of maybe 30,000 after
Wow.
everything.
So you're basically lucky going to the World Cup and not going out of it with a minus.
Well, I mean, some people probably do only break even, really. I mean, if you've got a big
Wow.
team of analysts and trainers, if you get knocked out first or second round, there's a chance that or you make a very little bit of money. Of course, Jan Justov is not that interested. I mean, the money isn't the driving factor. He, but we also have to remember that he gains a place in the candidates tournament. So actually, the money he's won from this is actually much greater because he's got a candidate spot, which has potentially got a lot more money. And also being a Polish guy winning the World Cup, I think he's the first guy ever from Poland to win the World Cup.
Hmm.
And so he's probably going to get some sponsorship out of this. He's for sure going to be on Polish
And
television.
some
Uh,
more invites to
yeah,
some
exactly.
other tournaments. Yeah.
He was
Okay. Yeah.
already
That's good
getting
points.
he was already getting invites to top tournaments, but now
Yeah.
he's going to really be getting a lot. So it was a massive win for him, and congratulations, he played a
Absolutely.
fantastic
Yeah.
chess.
And we were predicting it wrongly once again. So I think now it's good time to whatever we predict, which we love to do, by the way.
Yes.
We love to predict. Whatever we predict, you should go the complete opposite to have a chance to.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, at least you said like if Duda wins against Carlsen, which I think like wow, that was a
Yeah,
good
yeah,
match. But
yeah.
we both thought that Karyakin will take it, and no,
That's
he
true.
didn't. No, he actually, as you mentioned like quickly before we started, he kind of played even a bit poorly here, right? So I didn't even really check the game, but
Yeah, I mean, it was a really weird final because Karyakin with white played a forced draw, so he just drew the game really quickly. And then with black, he went in for this. He went in for this variation. You can see, well,
what did
around. Yeah,
which opening did they play? Do you know that?
they played at
Here,
Vienna. Yeah,
sorry.
if we go here, so I'll quickly go through it. So yeah, so. Sorry, not a Vienna. I beg your pardon. Yes, a
Queen's Gambit declined. Dutch Peruvian Gambit?
yeah. It's
That's what it says
actually
here.
it's actually kind of a Tarash, but it's fine. Yeah, CB5 and now CB4. Queen takes B4, E takes B5. Bishop G5, Bishop E7, E3, castle.
And Castle.
We actually have a. Do you know what we have? This is more like a C3 Sicilian reversed. This kind of position you can get on a C3 Sicilian with colors reversed. So
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah. So rook d1, knight c6,
Hmm.
queen a4, bishop e6. And we have a typical isolated queen's pawn position where black has got the isolated queen's pawn. And as we know, when you have the isolated queen's pawn, it's important that you stay very active because that's a long-term weakness.
Uh-huh.
And basically, yeah, when bishop b5, this has been played, and queen b6, and this is the game theory versus Wang Yue from 10 years ago. And here, Jan Shishkov decided to play the very sensible move: bishop takes f6, bishop takes f6, knight takes d5, bishop takes d5, rook takes d5. So it looks like he wins a pawn, but then the move bishop takes b2 happens. And the problem is, yeah, the bishop takes b2 actually looks like it might be a mistake. It's incredible to think that this move is a mistake, winning the pawn back. But the problem is, white now just gets a very nasty initiative. So the bishop went back, the rook came in, and white is now basically free rolling this position, right? White has got better activity, better pieces, and yeah, rook a c8. So
I like this. I like this king move. It's I
yeah, the
didn't
king
see
move
that
is
coming.
interesting. Actually, castles is the most natural move there. But the king
Hmm.
move, just saying that the king is more useful in the center,
More
also
active,
makes
yeah.
sense. Now bishop c4 is a very nice move by
Hmm.
Duda. Looking at the f7 pawn, maybe putting the rook on d7, right? And this is where Sergei tried to exchange queens, queen b4, queen b3. Yeah, nice little move, queen b3 takes.
Yeah.
And now knight b8 trying to cover the d7 square. And this is where Sergei played a very nice, Jan Shishkov played a very nice played move g4. Very typical move, gaining space. And one thing you want to do when you're playing is, for people who are watching this trying to learn, is you want to make sure that you are uh, uh, using the positive imbalances that you have in your position, that you're
Hmm.
utilizing them. So, what is one of the positive imbalances? If you just go back one move, or it doesn't really matter. You can see here that one major imbalance is that you've got a majority of pawns on the king side, right? To
Hmm.
try and use or utilize that imbalance that is in your favor. So playing g4 here, obviously there's no risk because your king is super safe. You want to gain space and look at that diagonal a2 to g8. You know, this is a very, very nasty diagonal. If you can start running your pawns up the board, the black king is not going to feel safe. So g4, h6, and now of course h4 was played, g6, trying to give some space to the bishop. But now you can go g5. This is very important. Takes. And now you've managed to fix two of the black pawns on light squares. You've got a light square bishop, so they're very attackable on g6 and f7, right? Bishop
Hmm. Hmm.
e7 was now played. Now another really nice move, rook e5. This combination is
Oh.
amazing. Rook e5, knight c6, and now rook d7. This was awesome by Jan Tistov. I mean, this required a
Oh.
lot of imagination and a lot of skill. And the point is that, yeah, if you go knight takes rook here, which is the most logical move, you could just go knight takes knight. And the problem is that, yeah, the bishop is on freeze. If you play a move like bishop takes g5 here, winning the pawn, you've got a good selection. You can go knight takes f7, even knight takes g6 exists. But let's say knight takes f7 just is the most classic way. You're attacking the bishop. The bishop moves somewhere. Let's say bishop, yeah, f6. And now you can just go knight g5 check. You don't even have to go knight d6. Knight g5 is as simple as king h8 and rook h7 is mate. So all of these things. Now to see the difference there, you see that move rook e5, knight c6, rook e7 is out of my. So that's out of my vision basically.
Yeah.
That sequence there is what already I feel the difference. Like finding that,
Crushing.
yeah. And then, so, I mean, actually, black went bishop d8, and now the initiative just was really strong because you go rook b5, hitting the board, black has to go knight a5, and now you can just put the bishop on d5. Very classic, what played by Jan Tristov, because now the bishop dominates the knight, rook c7, and now you've got a lovely little the move bishop takes f7 check. Love, very, very easy tactic. Yeah, just
Oh.
overloading the pieces, and
Because of this. Whoa, that's
yeah,
beauty. Yeah.
yeah, if rook takes f7, you actually lose two pieces because rook takes d8 check, king g7, and then finally the a5 knight hangs, and it's just all over.
Oh gosh.
You
Now I
actually
see.
lose the
Yeah,
whole
but is
thing.
it yeah, yeah, it is really
92.
working. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, oops.
So
Cool.
you have to
Cool.
move the king, which is what happened, king g7.
Oh,
And now, very simply,
terrible.
just take, and bishop e5. And Karyakin resigned here. This is not a premature resignation. The move knight d4 to e6 is coming. So, for example, if you go b6 here, because you want to protect the pawn, now knight d4 is the end of the game because knight e6 is a devastating check, winning the house. And Karyakin resigned because really this is just too much suffering. And it was a very poor performance by Sergei in the final, which is surprising. But Sergei achieved one big thing, which was he also got a candidate's place, I believe, by uh, yeah, he did. Sergei, I think both finalists get a candidate place. So Sergei, yeah, exactly. So Jan Shishov and Sergei are in the candidates. Talking about the candidates, one bit of news that you should know that you're probably not aware of is that when Carlsen lost to Duda, right? If Carlsen had beaten Duda in their match, then
in the semifinals, yeah.
In the semifinal, then Vladimir Fedoseev would have got a place to the candidates. So Fedoseev got very unlucky in many ways that Carlsen didn't do what he was supposed to do. So it's Duda and Karyakin who are now officially in the candidates tournament. And
Lawrence, do you believe in karma?
Well, you're going to talk about the fist pump, aren't you? That's cool. Yeah, I actually mentioned this.
You did last episode, yeah.
No, but I mentioned it in a group chat with with Fabiano Caruana and Rustam Kazanjama. We have a little WhatsApp group, and I said that's the fist pump karma. There, that's how he got that.
Yeah.
But I mean, congratulations again. Just congratulations also Alexander Kostenyuk, who played a magnificent tournament.
Yes, you were checking this one out thoroughly on your weekly show, which is very, very nice. I really enjoy all your analysis. It's very, very, very good learning for everybody.
It certainly is.
So, but you also mentioned, of course, there's a much nicer game. Shall we quickly also take a look at...
let's have a look.
I'm not sure if I can see it here.
At the Carlsen...
Yes, it is here.
Yeah,
Carlsen against Fedoseev.
Beautiful game. Yeah,
let's jump into this one too.
Yeah, so it was an advanced Caro-Kann, bishop f5. And now this move pawn to c4, which is a fairly rare move. I mean, it's been played, but it's not that common at top level.
What do you play against the Caro-Kann in this year?
I've played everything. In this position, I've played every move possible. I've played e4, I've played h4, I've played knight c3, I've played knight f3.
I like h4 too.
Yeah, c4 though is interesting. Okay, e6, knight c3. Okay, now already bishop e4 is slightly unusual. Black normally plays knight d7 here, I believe. But okay, bishop e4, c takes d5, and now queen takes d5. When I was watching this game live, I thought this was a truly terrible decision on the part of Vladimir Fedoseev. The point is now, Carlsen came up with a very, very nice move. He played the move knight g2. And the point is that, the standard move there is to go knight f3, for example. But knight e2 is very clever because you're now threatening to go a3. So let's say black just plays a normal move. Let's say black plays knight e7, for example.
Knight e7.
Well, knight e7. Now you go a3. It doesn't really matter. And the point is you can't retreat the bishop because b4 wins a piece. So you have to take, exactly. Bishop a5, b4 wins a piece. And then you take back. The queen goes somewhere. Okay? And we stop for a moment here with this position. Now, the problem with black's position is that you don't have a dark square bishop. and white has got the two bishops. And white can really put a lot of pressure on black in these kind of positions. Bishop g5 is a move. You can even start
now that I played, bishop, knight to e7, bishop g5 is a very nice one, of course.
It might not be the end of the world for black, but I can just tell you from experience that the long-term pressure these two bishops give is a problem. So knight g2 is a really, really good move by...
Interesting. So if you just, because something like this is happening, now a lot of chess players who are watching those games, they will probably try this out in the Caro-Kann in their blitz games. That's what's happening normally, right?
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it.
Take an advice to actually, if this ever happens, but probably nobody will play the queen in this.
No, I think the main. Well, I mean, it's more the move bishop b4. I really don't like bishop b4. I think,
okay.
I think this move bishop b4 is just
too heavy.
Yeah, just too optimistic. And what happened in the game was, black played queen b8, white went a3. Okay, the bishop goes here. Black keeps the two bishops, but now knight g3. Okay.
That's good.
Yeah. So knight g3. And now bishop c4, bishop g6. And now white plays a very typical move in these Caro lines. He plays the move pawn to h4.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, h6. You go h5. This is very important. Kick the bishop back. But most importantly, this pawn on h5 now acts as a wedge in the black position. And now queen g4. Now we see the issue with bringing this bishop out too early, and it's offside on a5. It's really offside now.
Yes.
Over here on a5.
Doesn't help at all to exchange the knight. It makes white even stronger, I believe. So, yeah.
Right, exactly. So how do you defend that pawn? You have to play very depressing move to play. Right. And now white just castles. And now white has got a very, very clear play. He castles. Okay, knight d7. And here the move knight c to e4 is very nice. Looking at this very weak d6 square.
Everywhere.
Coals.
Wow.
Everywhere. Right?
Wow.
So bishop to c7 covering. Bishop drops back. Okay, knight f5. Well, it's okay.
But can I ask you? Yeah, exactly. So why is
bishop
this? Yes.
Why did he play it? He played it because knight b6 was coming with a tempo, and the pawn on d4 and the bishop would be hit. The bishop is just nicely out of the way on a2. It performs a very nice role, sitting there. Because at some point, as you're going to see, white's main idea now is just to play f4, f5. And try and open up that line.
Crush.
Yeah? And if you manage to do that, it's just going to be all over, basically.
Yeah.
There's just nothing to do. So f4, f5 is just a massive threat.
No.
Yeah, so black played knight f5, white took, knight takes f5.
Oh, that's also crazy. Because,
no, e takes f5 doesn't win a piece. Yeah, e takes f5 doesn't win a piece because white here can play queen f3 or queen f4. I don't know.
Okay, gotcha. There's checkmate, of course.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice.
So bishop takes f5. The queen comes back to f3 anyway. Queen e7, and now white has got. The problem is because the communication of the black pieces is so bad along the back, right? We always say, get, your king castle, get your rooks connected. There's a reason for that. Is that this kind of thing could happen? And now white had a very simple plan. He kicked the bishop, knight g3. Bishop went back, and now he went back to g4. He just retreated, and now the path is clear for f4. F4. Now the path is clear. It really is that simple. And it's very difficult to suggest what to do. c5. Now white played a very cool little move. He played the move bishop to b2. Very nice move. The point being, c takes b4 runs into the very nasty bishop b4 at some point.
Yeah.
Pinning the black queen.
That's beautiful.
That's very nasty. Yeah, that's extremely nasty.
And there he goes. as
And
you
now,
mentioned,
yeah, pawn,
f4.
exactly. F4, knight b6. Again, cool little move, bishop c3, protecting this d4 pawn because, again, c takes d4, bishop d4 just brings the queen. So knight d5 happened, and now you just get on with it with f5. Very straightforward play by Magnus Carlsen.
And you're not even scared of this move, of course, knight to
Not scared of
e3.
knight e3, no, because if that's what happened, I believe, knight e3,
Yeah.
and you just give up the exchange because after queen f3, if you go knight takes f1, I wonder here if Magnus wanted to take rook takes f1 or whether he has some intermediate move. Probably doesn't. I would say he just goes rook takes f1 and black's position collapses because f takes e6 is a threat, b takes f5, knight takes f5, yeah, something like this. Bishop f5, queen f5, you can't defend f7. Rook d7, well,
This is going.
e6 is just one.
I don't know. Yeah, something like this is going to crush.
Absolutely.
Nice. Where were we? Sorry.
So he took on f5, basically. He understood.
Yes. Aha. Tricky. Another nice pawn move to d5. That's just trying to...
Exactly. So now takes in d5, and now bishop c4. This is lovely. This move here, bishop c4, is really lovely. This is, again...
blocking the pawn.
Exactly. So now the pawns are blocked. King g8. And now Magnus played a very human, natural move. He played the move d6. Apparently the move queen e2 is crushing, but d6 still has to be extremely good for white. I don't know why queen e2 was good, but d6 is the human move. And now look at the position. I mean, you've got a protected pass pawn on d6. The bishop on b6 is shut out. You've got all the space, and the position is just hopeless.
Yeah. That's get the...
Well, he kicked through screen. We should watch it to the end. Queen h4, you held the bishop with b3, very nice. Rook d7, queen e2. Now queen e2 is played. Now rook takes f5 is a big threat because you want to go rook takes f5, queen takes f5.
Oh my god, beautiful.
Yeah, just literally crashing through.
Yeah.
So instead...
trying to save the bishop and trying to exchange.
And now he did it anyway. Rook takes f5. Absolutely stunning move.
My
the point
god.
is that if e takes f5, you can exchange queens. So e takes f5, queen takes g4, f takes g4, and now e6 anyway is completely crushing because if rook takes d6, well, yeah, rook takes d6. I guess here you can just taking rooks.
You just go.
E7 also is good, but e6 f7 is probably good too. Yeah, because if king f8, I was thinking rook e1 simply.
Okay.
Rook d8, and now black is in some kinds of zugzwang. Like black just can't move any pieces.
I think so. Yeah, that's
bishop e5, bishop e6, for example, is a really good idea. Yeah. So yeah, but your move as well probably just wins. So
rook took a5.
Yeah, so
queen takes back.
Rook f1, queen g5, and now white played the move bishop
d2.
Queen, queen d8, forcing the queen all the way back.
Yeah, there's no other spot. Crazy.
Yeah. Queen now comes to g4. Black basically has got no moves, so he goes pawn to a6.
It must be such... Isn't this... Do you have something... You have a position like this too. And you know you're not... If you have a position like this too, you know you do not have like a piece less. You actually have like quality more. But you know you're just like... You're in the grip of a boa constrictor. How does it feel to play against something like this?
Well, it's the worst feeling in chess.
Yes.
It's the worst feeling because, you know, I've been there, you've probably been there. Most players have been there where the position is just hopeless, you've got no moves, but you can't resign until they deliver the blow, right? So you have to wait. It's like imminent, you know you're going to die. The plane is crashing, right? And you're on the plane, you know you're going to die. You just don't know whether it's going to be 1 minute, 3 minutes, or 5 minutes, or 10 minutes.
Wow.
That's the
That
sort of
that's
analogy.
that's
Yeah,
the
that's how
analogy.
horrible it is.
Yeah. So here it comes. Here's the crane flash.
Yeah,
Rook
exactly.
f7.
And now rook
This
f7,
is,
beautiful move. King takes f7 is the only move. And
I
actually,
think so.
things
Yeah.
get a little bit complicated here. After king takes f7 is the only move. Because it looks as though the main move is to go queen takes e6 check. And the way Carlsen did it here was very nice. Apparently, bishop takes e6 check is even better. But okay.
Oh, let's
Apparently,
take a
taking
look
the
quickly.
bishop is better. With the idea king f8, you now give a check on f5.
Oh.
Yeah, you give a check on f5. King
Oh.
e8, you give a check on g6. King f8, king f8. Now you take on d7. Queen takes d7, and now the move pawn to e6. The point is you can't take on d6 because of queen f7 mate, and not exactly a mate here. So you have to go queen to e8, and now you can give check on e7. Yeah, king to g8, and here you can just do, for example, queen e6 check, king to h7, and now you can go probably throw in queen e4 check. I would throw in this check, king to g8, and now d7, for example, and you force the
Oh,
diamond. Yeah,
killer.
crushing.
Killer. My gosh. But he took with the queen, I guess, yeah. It will, there's whatever is happening. This is
Exactly.
also
So he takes
really
with the queen. So the way he actually did it was really interesting. Um, king
king
e8,
goes
queen
here.
d6 check, king f8. Yeah, there was a little repetition to get to move 40. Yeah. Now, yeah,
Clever. Okay.
exactly. And then he finally went for this variation of d6, which is similar. You can't take the pawn on d6 because of queen f7 mate.
Yep.
So you have to go queen f6 with black. But the point is that now you can just take on d7, threatening
Oh.
it's queen takes d6, and now h6 d6. And now we reach this ending, which again is really cute because black is an exchange up, but the white pawns are configured in such a way that black is in he's completely tied up, he's completely paralyzed. So,
Yeah. This rook is not even existing. If there's a rook or not, it doesn't even matter. Wow.
well, not quite because the
Ah, yeah,
pawn
because he's coming out there, right? Yeah.
h5.
Sorry.
The pawn
I was
can
a
go
bit.
h5. Yeah, exactly. But you go bishop e6, h5, and king f2. The rook still can't get out h4. And now key move here by Magnus bishop g4, stopping the move
No.
to h5.
Yes.
Right? And now, so the rook is completely paralyzed. The king, the pawn, so it's really important that there are pawns on d7, d6, and g6, right? Because they
Yes.
control all of the squares that the king wants to go to. b5, king f3, b4, and after takes, actually Fedoseev resigned without waiting for Magnus's reply. There are many ways to win here. The thing you don't want to do is play bishop takes b4. That might be a small, even that might not be a mistake, but because that allows h6. No, the idea is just to run the king. Here, when I was looking at this, just run it to c8, exactly.
Yep.
Make a queen and then make another queen, and there's nothing that black can do.
Okay. That
stunning.
was so worth it. Beauty.
Yeah.
Thanks for showing this in this depth. That is crazy beauty. Nice. Nice one. Nice.
So Carl, and also let's just talk very quickly about Carlsen.
Yeah, please.
He didn't win the tournament, but it was the first time he gained rating since 2019. And actually, if you go to 2700chess.com in the browser, you'll see that for the first time in a long, long time, Carlsen gained 9 points. He's rated 2855, and there's not anybody else who's over 2800. For a long, long time, there were 2, 3, 4 guys over 2800. Fabi has had a pretty tough time in the World Cup. He lost 7.5 points. He's down to world number 3. Ding Liren is world number 2. Nepomniachtchi world number 4. Aronian, still up there. Giri gained a little bit. Mamedyarov, Grishuk both lost points. Duda, you can see, gained 18 points. So that puts him in a very nice place, 27.56. Yeah, and kayaking with just 1 point gained. Obviously,
And that also means that another of my predictions, which I made with you a couple of months ago or weeks maybe, I think it was more than a month. I said like probably by the end of the year we will have 5 players with 2,800. Well, I mean it still can happen, but
yeah,
now actually there's only one player left with 2,800, although there
exactly,
were 3 at that time when I said so. I thought of
exactly.
Nepomniachtchi. I thought Caruana wouldn't lose too much. I thought Dingliren would also not lose too much, and I thought like maybe Geary will go to 2,800 too. Well, yeah, that's about that. Yeah, interesting.
So, um, so that's it. So, well done. In other news, there's still a deal, I believe, uh, Kamsky won deal, I think. I,
That's correct. Here he
yes,
is. He
yes,
beat Vincent Keimer,
yes.
and there again, I mean, yeah, I have to get used to this image where he has long hair again, because I remember him with longer. He has like all the haircuts there are in his career. I think he also looked like you for a while. And yeah, and now he's letting it grow again. But and it's interesting because, of course, yeah, not Kaimar. Kamsky is no doubt he is like a 2,700 strength player. And he's just really, really, really strong. Although he has 2,600, but
Yeah,
yeah, it is a surprise for me that he won the Biel tournament. That I thought Alexenko, Kaimar maybe, and I
yeah,
thought like Kamsky is going to be in the middle place, of course.
yeah.
Gelfand strong for his age, absolutely too. But yeah, he did it.
No, he
Surprise
won.
for me.
He was one of the best players in the world
Yeah,
in the late 90s, early 2000s. Um, so,
I don't know his story,
oh,
honestly.
really? Wow. Then you're missing out. You've got a lot
I
to,
know.
you got to read up. I mean, I won't spoil it for you because it's kind of, in many ways, it's quite a sad story as well.
Yes, that's what I heard. But
Yeah,
I know he left at one point, and that was at this kind of at his peak,
yeah.
or like yeah, and then
Well,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, obviously, he was a child prodigy, but the real story is, he
I'll
had
check
a,
it out.
yeah, you check it out. So, but I mean, his class is undeniable. He's a top player, and yeah, him winning this isn't a huge surprise to me. If I'm totally honest, he can play, he can beat the best on his day. That's the point. Uh,
Hmm. And
so,
there he had a good time. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I get that. I get that.
Also, I should
Uh,
point out, just to say that Noel Duda, I all recommend everybody go and follow him on Twitter. He's extremely
yes.
insightful, but he has announced his retirement from chess. So
What
his handle
did
is
that
at Noel Duda. But yes, he is
did that change in
retired
the last week?
from competitive chess. He made a post about it.
Did this
So
did this happen in the last week, Lawrence?
this happened in the last week, yes.
I
Yeah,
can't
like a couple of
because last week you already mentioned to take a look at Noel Studer's Twitter because he's making such amazing
yeah,
comments, has blog texts.
he's still going to be contributing and writing blogs and that kind of thing. Um, he's just he's just not playing. He's going to
All
be.
right.
I don't know exactly what he's going to be doing. Hopefully, that will become clear.
So
So
there's another story to check out. I think it's I think now that we're talking about this, it's almost interesting. Every one of these players has kind of an interesting story. I wouldn't know one about Maxime Lagarde. I don't know him too much, and also not Alan Pichot. I don't know too much, although it is impressive that he's an Argentinian player and he's probably the best Argentinian, right?
Yes, he is. He's the best
Yeah.
one.
But Gatakamsky has a story. Alexenko has a story. Gelfand has a huge story. Vincent Keimer surely
Yeah,
too. And Nihal Sarin, we have been talking about him all the time
sure.
in the last weeks, obviously. So yeah, and there's another one in this. And probably those guys have a very interesting story too.
Yeah, no, I mean, most people have an interesting backstory. So,
Mm.
yeah.
That's that. Then we have Chessable Masters. I didn't follow it that much.
I haven't followed it that much either, if I'm totally honest. There's
Yeah.
semi-finals.
So
Yeah,
of course,
yeah.
the most interesting story for me was that Mishra Abimanyu was playing in the tournament and that he
Yes,
actually won a game.
yes,
It was tough, of course. He played against like at least 8 to 10, 2,700 players. So that's
yes.
brutal. And he got 2.5 points. So respect, big respect, actually.
Exactly.
Yeah, so he's doing some training with Carsten Miller, I think.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, so yeah, that was a thing, and that's when I kind of left the building for this. So yeah, Wesley So. Artemiev, that I thought is interesting. He won against Nakamura in
He
the
did.
Armageddon, and that is tough because Nakamura is just a massive, good blitz player. But Artemiev, on the other side, I mentioned this on one of our other shows. He's a beast as well in blitz. So yeah, that can go both ways. But that's pretty strong. And Artemiev makes himself a name more and more in the
Yeah,
last.
I mean, he's just a very, very dangerous guy. He's very creative. He's very unpredictable. So he's got a wide opening repertoire. He can play any kind of position. He's a very good calculator. He's one of the more seriously difficult guys to play against. He's like my worst nightmare as an opponent.
Have you ever played against him? Like some
Not
blitz
against
matches or something?
maybe I played him online one time. I don't really know because I don't know his handle. I've played a lot of the top Russian guys. In fact, I nearly won. I don't know if I'm supposed to mention this tournament, so I won't say the name. But there's a tournament that's played every week on a certain server late on a
Titled Tuesday.
We're allowed to say. And I was actually doing really well last week. I beat Gunina, I beat some other guy, and then I was completely crushing what's his name? Dan. Some very strong Turkish grandmaster who's 3,000. And had I won that, I would have been on 7 out of 8 and basically in second position. And I was +6, and I just something happened, and I just lost. But the reason I mentioned that is because I played a lot of the top Russian guys. I think I played Duda, I think I played Sarana, but I don't know if I played Otsuma. But yeah, obviously he's just extremely good. You know?
Surely, absolutely.
Yeah,
I think that sums it up pretty nice. Oh, I mention Svetlana last week. So I just wanted to mention that she is she started her European journey to Serbia, then to Russia, and then to the Ukraine. She played the 3 tournaments, of course, the World Cup too in Sochi. And she just gained almost 200 rating points. So she's almost 2,300. Of course, she's under 17, so the K40 helps, but she played tremendously well in the last tournament in the Ukraine. She was set as the weakest player in the IM tournament and ended in the second place, got the WGM norm. Pretty massive. So looking forward. She's coming to Hamburg next week. So also looking forward to this. Yeah, definitely. And I guess that sums it. Did you know Istvan Chom? Sorry, just to.
I didn't. I mean, I know he passed away, which is obviously. I mean, I wanted to mention that briefly. That's obviously very, very sad news. He was a top player in the 70s, I believe.
Okay.
anything. But I didn't know him personally, and I never met him. Yeah.
There.
But obviously sad news. I know he was already quite
Yeah.
old, but
I haven't heard of him before. 81. Yeah, that's
yeah, I mean he was 81, so yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That is it for the chess news of this week, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, thanks so much
Yeah.
for the analysis of those two stunning games. Which, yeah, the Carlsen one is clearly a little masterpiece. I might
It
have
is. Yeah.
to say that. And what's your plan for the? Aren't the tournaments starting more or
Well, I
less?
have actually got an announcement. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be. I am actually coming to Hamburg to play a
No way.
league match. Yeah, I am. But I'm in and out real quick. We're playing against, oh God, I can't even remember who we're playing. I'm playing for Norderstedt. And then I am.
And you played in Norderstedt anyway, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're playing in Norderstedt. I think we're playing in Norderstedt on Sunday morning. So I'll be playing my first over-the-board game for years. And I'm going to be playing. I don't know who I'm going to be playing. Somebody not. I mean, some 2200 or something like that. So it's going to be an experience to touch the pieces again, and be around people and have to wear masks and that kind of thing. It's going to be a bit weird, but you know.
So
Yeah.
that would be cool if you briefly if we can take a look at this game, however it ends in the next week, maybe, if you're willing to.
If it's any good, I mean, if it's an interesting game, sure, we can.
Yeah, depends on that, obviously.
Exactly.
Obviously. Yes, exciting. Yes, you're back on track, and it's part of your big journey. So looking forward to this.
Let's see. I don't know how big the journey is going to be. Let's see. When I start, let's see.
Let's see about that. All right, everybody, have a lovely weekend.
Yeah.
And see you guys next week.
Next
One
week.
last thing,
Yes.
quickly. After the next week, there's a break of 2 weeks. So then after next week, we will start. We will be back in September, obviously.
Exactly.
That just to let you know.
Exactly.
Bye-bye, everyone.